Hey, howdy, welcome back to the channel. This is Matthew Pizgatti answering a really quick question. If you clicked on this because you didn't know the answer, or if you forgot, the answer is yes, but let's delve into it a little further. Specifically, we're asking, can the price of a plant change? Specifically, can it go up? Because, after all, that would be incredibly beneficial for all of us who have been compounding. And we're started with our small amounts of plants. Maybe you had 500, maybe now you have 1,000,000, who knows? But let's say the price of plants were 2 cents. That's what it was this morning. They were only 2 cents, and now they are at 5 cents. So that does answer our question if they can go up and if they can change. We know they can go down because that's part of the built-in decay, kind of part of the mechanisms in the contract, in the game here. That's how it works. There's that slow decline. Especially if the contract balance is not going up, or at least staying kind of on par, similar, horizontal movements, and if the price of DRIP is not going up, especially if it's falling. If it's falling, you're going to see a drastic amount of what we're calling decay. If the DRIP price, and that directly affects the LP price here, the DRIP slash BUSD, if that's on the downtrend and the contract balance on the downtrend, we know that that decay, that as we call it, speeds up, it goes down. But since some of that is what I would say is artificial, it's artificial in the way that it's not really part of the mechanism per se. Forex Shark didn't build in 5% of decay, 6% of decay that we see sometimes. Maybe not averaged on a long enough time frame, but he didn't build that in to happen randomly. It's happening because the contract balance was going down. Nobody was putting new capital in here and dollar cost averaging as much as they could have been. They didn't want to because the sentiment has been, on the downtrend because DRIP was falling. So it didn't look productive. It didn't look like there was any reason to be adding in. And a lot of people are dollar cost averaging, but not enough here to make a huge difference. I mean, you can see some upticks and bumps, but this especially happens when the price of DRIP goes up. Right, today we could see this large uptick here in contract balance, and also in the BUSD LP, the DRIP BUSD LP value. We can see that uptick there. So both of those things did cause what we're calling the price of a plant to go up. And remember, the price of a plant isn't per se. It is the price of a plant. Really, it's what the equivalent of 2.592 million seeds would equal. Because when we're talking about selling, we're really talking about selling seeds. Seeds hold that value that you're going to be selling or harvesting. You're not selling plants. So that's why a lot of people will tell you that the price of plants doesn't matter. In theory, it does when you're putting new capital in, when you're buying in. That's kind of when it matters. But we're going off all these games, these little miners, these whatever you want to call them in the DeFi space. Most of these are working off of some type of compounding interest type of mechanism where, you're really rewarded by compounding regularly and frequently. For instance, myself, besides all the referrals I got, because I do get a lot of referrals for the garden, and again, I can't easily track those. There's not a lot of good tools for that. I know I get referrals, but besides the referrals, I started off with a very small amount of plants. I don't even remember. It was 30 or 60 or something like that. I didn't put more than like $300 in here. I've already ROI'd at some point, and right now I'm just compounding. But that small amount of plants, turned into 400 plants a day now. I'm up to over 12,000 plants. And so when you're at this point where you're every 30 plants is essentially another plant a day. So now that I'm making 400 a day, if I compound a couple times a day or at least once a day, that compounding interest really takes over to the point where you should be outpacing the normal quote-unquote decay that's in the system. But again, when that LP price is falling because DRIP is falling, and when the contract balance is falling because sentiment, no one wants to get into what they see as a falling project because they don't have faith in the long term, perhaps. And even Forex Shark, the developer himself, says that the garden is a riskier play. It's higher risk than the faucet, higher risk than anything else he has in the DRIP ecosystem. So, all that in mind, the way that it works is judging you against the other average player. Are you on par or better? Your compound to harvest ratio, are you on par or better than the average user in the system? And if the answer is yes, then when those two other things aren't going crappy, effy, trying to censor myself a little bit here so I'm not just cursing all over, but when those other two levers aren't going haywire and on the downtrend, then your compounding, as long as you're being what we would call like a good actor, you're only harvesting once a week or on an 80-20 type schedule. If you're doing that, you should be outpacing the standard type of decay that's built in. So if you like the drip ecosystem, you like where it's going, you're bullish, you think it's going to come back up in price, then in theory, you would love the garden, because if you're compounding heavily like I've been doing this whole time, I only took out a couple times, and you can see the big hits I took, by the way. This is why you shouldn't be trying to claim while drip is in the downtrend here. You can see those big hits I took. I would have been even higher up on my LPs per day. So I'm trying to work my way back up. But if you're compounding, especially in the downtrend times when we're not going up, then I think when we do go back up, you're going to see this huge roar in the garden. It's going to be pretty awesome. I'm trying to get there, but I see this dollar value going up right now because drip went up. I see the price per plant going up, what it's equivalent to, which will make your assets look a little nicer, even though those aren't technically sellable, so that doesn't really matter. But yeah, so that answers our question, right? Can the price of a quote-unquote plant, if you want to look at it that way, which it does matter if you're buying in, by the way, right? Each plant's going to cost you 5 cents rather than 2. So it does matter in that case, but not when you're selling. But that answers that question for us. Can the price of a plant change? Yes. Can it go up? Yes. And it will if the LP value is going up and if the contract balance is steady or going up. So that's what we want to see. And that's why, if you are in the garden and you do like drip and you're bullish on drip long term, I don't think you'd be in the wrong recommending it to people. Like this referral on the left here, this referral, copy your referral link. That's mine in the description as well. If you're not in the garden, you copy that referral link. That's where I got all my referrals from that help my garden a good bit. And really, each of those referrals you throw in, even though you're getting some of that referral, right, it's also helping the overall contract balance, which helps all of us. So if you like drip long term, you're bullish on it, you're positive on drip, even though this is, you should really explain to people, this is high risk. It's higher risk than the other pieces of the puzzle, like the faucet. It's still going to be very worthwhile if you think drip is going to swing back around, which I do. So I'm excited to see. I only have 12,000 plants, but if drip swings back up to like around all-time highs where it was when I was getting in, then claiming once a week will be really awesome for me. Whether that's an extra $100 a week or $200 a week, whatever. I started with a pretty small bag. I would be pretty excited about that. And if you're one of those who threw in thousands, you may be getting quite a bit more per week than I am. If you've been compounding this entire time. So all of that's exciting to me. The plant price can change. It can go up in reverse and break back through, which is why when people are looking at some of this decay, by the way, if you're in the Drip Garden Telegram chat, if you're not, pop into my Telegram chat and I'll make sure to give you the link and get you over there if you ask. If you're not in the Drip Garden Telegram chat, it's not the official chat, but it might as well be because there isn't one. Some of the people in there are posting really informational infographics of like decay per day. The only thing I think people need to keep in mind when you're looking at that is that because this price of a so-called plant or 2.592 million seeds, because that price can reverse and go back up, the quote-unquote decay isn't always accurate on a short time frame. So if you're looking at a single day or you're looking at a week, maybe even a month, but when I first got in and saw that some people were complaining about the decay back in March or something because drip had just started to kind of downtrend, I noticed they weren't looking at a long enough timeline. If you look at it spread out across a month or spread out across 2 months or something, unless drip is just in like a free fall, your overall decay averaged across all the days isn't as bad as people were making it out to seem. Yes, maybe there was a 6% this day, but then maybe there was a 1.5 this day, and there was a 2 this day, and it's that type of thing. So really look at it big picture. If you're bullish on drip, you should be bullish on the garden. I'm excited to see where it goes, and this little bump today showed us where it can go with drip positivity, with that sentiment going up alongside all these new things launching. So I'm excited. Hopefully you're excited. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all the likes and subscribes. You guys are awesome. Don't interpret anything I said as financial advice. It's not. Do whatever you want with your money. It's your money. It's your funds. It's your paycheck. Don't throw it at high-risk things if you can't afford to lose it. But if you're already in the drip ecosystem, I'm guessing you're bullish on drip. And you're waiting for that turnaround, as we all are. And I think we have a lot of good things to come. These are long-term projects. And I could be completely wrong. Come yell at me in a year if everything just tanks out. That's always a possibility. Please don't only listen to the positives from YouTubers like myself, because that's not the big picture. Anything can turn around or tank. The whole market's doing awful right now as a rule, right? So the fact that drip does have these pump days like this shows a lot of it really shows a lot of the traits of the ecosystem and what it can do. With the right sentiment, with the right good actors, the whales throwing money in there, and then all we need is a few of these partnerships to actually go live. We need the lottery tickets, which I think Forex said maybe by August. So he has this long-term outlook. He's not letting the project die. He's not planning on letting the project die. He's got this long-term outlook all the way to the end of the year. He wants us to run another year and keep paying people out and running. The farm should be hopefully up and running by the end of this month. That's what I'm hoping on within the next week or two. The full farm, the full new UI for the garden and everything, all really exciting. Dogs and pigs will be on the rise if all that gets launched and live. So if you don't have pigs now, that might be something to kind of stock up on. And here I am at my typical end of video rant because I can't shut up. So yes, the plant price can change. I'm gonna have to write a script for these so I don't keep going off the off the wheels on how much I love drip, because I could be wrong, and someone's gonna make a compilation of these in 8 months and say Pizgatti said all this was going down and it went the complete opposite way. Don't do that. Do your own research. Although I would appreciate a funny compilation. That would actually be pretty amusing if I end up being completely off base here. But do your own research. Look into it. Decide if you think it's a good idea. I'm guessing if you're watching this, you're already in the garden, though. So really, your only options are: do you dollar cost average in more? You might as well keep compounding, because the gas price is pretty affordable, and if drip does see a turnaround, it should be this year. It should be within the next couple months after the farm is fully live. That's my prediction still. So all good things. All good things. I'm excited to see where this goes. These little pumps like today, give people a little more hope, boost sentiment, which is it's a lot of psychology in there. I'm sure some of the whales know that if they were kind of party to this bump today, if they kind of got that rolling, which it sounded like it was. A couple, Ray and somebody else maybe had thrown some big deposits in drip. So that's why we saw that little pump today. But yeah, as always, appreciate you guys. Join the Telegram if you have any questions. Comment on here if you'd like, although I'm not as quick to probably respond. I can't type as much on the YouTube side. I prefer to have the actual conversation in the Telegram. That's why I direct everyone there. If you're not in Faucet or any of these, Piggy Bank, and you want to be, referral links in the descriptions. You're all awesome. Thanks for watching. I will catch you on the next video. Thanks.